Love that sound. I have to go out and like, I have to record that. Woo. Oh, the Exo Farm's back. I'll mute myself that way I can hear it. There we go. I finally got that clip. I have to get that video. I'll show you what I mean. I mean, it's so clean. The sound of that is so clean. Shut up. Hold on. Do you hear that? Oh, is that dun dun? Is part of like the soundtrack. We have to be like 90% done with this. I love this sound. Damn it, on. I love that sound. That is badass. How every time I go into my world, I can hear my world, my machines start up and engage for another day of work. Ew. Boo. viewer. I'm watching a guy drive through the roads with a tank to fill up at the gas station in England. Hold on. Be right back, guys. I'm watching these people explore an abandoned hospital, and they went into a radiation area, which is most likely because of X-rays. But they should really, and Mike, I don't have to be certified to say this. Don't ever explore radioactive signs areas without a Geiger counter and experience, or at least basic experience of how radiation works. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert, but I know like the best way to stay safe from radiation: keep yourself away, put as much stuff between you and the source as possible, and stay away from it as long as possible. Time, distance, and shielding. Time, spend less time around the object. Distance, put yourself as far away from it as you physically can. And shielding, put as many physical layers between you and the object as possible. they're discharging a fire extinguisher in a hospital. In a van. Holy shit. It is actually a pretty good idea. They're saying use a fire extinguisher as a getaway. Honestly, you know what I'd do if I were in that hospital, if I had to explore? I'd grab a fire extinguisher, and immediately when I see someone, spray in their direction, not intending to hit them, but to cloud their vision, and bolt. That's a good idea. Like second extinguishers. They're having fun with extinguishers. Probably not what I should be laughing at, but still, I can't help. Man, they're wasting a good fire extinguisher, I'll tell you that. By the way, I saw a video of this guy exploring the Sears headquarters before it got demolished, and it was in Illinois. I'm going to be completely honest. If the company was going to demolish everybody, or not everybody, if they were going to demolish that Sears building and I was in that area, and I knew they were just going to they were not going to take out that cabling, I'm going to be completely honest. I'd start going in there with an angle grinder and cutting all those damn copper cables off, dude. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. You can do with this information as you want. Copper right now goes for about $2 to $3 per pound. And some, like, 6 gauge will... I know 4 gauge is a pretty thick ass wire. Like that wire will run you about $2 a foot. And it doesn't sound like that much, but I saw probably at least a 50 square foot of wire. And that was just on the camera. All that wiring, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. If that happened, and they were just gonna rip everything to the ground without taking the wires out, I would first of all see if I can isolate the source, see if it's a live circuit, and if it's not, I'm ripping all that copper out. I'm taking it. I was like how the video edited. See second fire extinguisher. This guy has found the PA system and is moaning in it. Yeah, I saw a video of this guy. It's called Exploring a Random Abandoned Hospital Gone Wrong. And this guy starts dead-ass moaning in the PA and playing Murder on My Mind. Actually, though. Oh man, Coinbase, today was a good day. I got a 1916 Denver, a 28S, a 37 Denver. Actually, let me see my notes. I started off with a 1916 Denver with the obverse off on the ender. 16 Denver, 36S, 37 Denver, and 28S were found today. Yeah, sweet goodies. The 28 Denver, the 36, they weren't in the best conditions, but they're still pretty good. No new wheat paints today, but still, got good ones. Again, I said this but when you weren't here, but I saw this one building. It was like the Sears Mega HQ complex, and they were going to demolish it without taking the copper wire off. Dude, if that was a dead wire, I'd start ripping all that copper cable out. Because guess what, buddy? Copper goes for $3 a pound. I know 4 American wire gauge wire, it'll go for about $2, $2.50 per foot. It racks up fast. I would love, even if I wasn't able to keep it, I'd just love to disassemble and demolish it. If I can't be wind turbine technician or meteorologist, I'm going into demolition. Because if I can't create, I'm definitely good at destroying. And don't people people may say, oh, don't say it about yourself. You're not that bad. Oh no, I'm good at destroying shit. I'm very good at destroying shit. I stripped a small little lawnmower down to the base parts within only about 2 hours. Like, you know, those like little tiny ride-on mowers. I got one, and when I got my hands on it, with nothing but a sprocket, and what my dad had an oxyacetylene torch on one part to get the motor out. But like a little tiny ride-on mower, I stripped it down to bare parts within 2 hours. I remember once I even drove a pickaxe through a printer. There's even a video on my channel of me burning shit. But dude, you know, like in the Sears building, not just copper wire that was going to get demolished and shipped off, but also there were a ton of these TVs and televisions. And yeah, they were a little bit older, but you're telling me like a low-income family couldn't get those TVs? And there were some pretty decent TVs, like flat screens, some big boxes. Like, you couldn't at least salvage that for copper? What a waste. And those all TVs were gone and demolished with that building. Like, if you were, like, watch the video, like, the Sears HQ in, like, Hoffman Estates, so much went to waste when that building was demolished. I know it's tedious, but, man, I'd at least take all the copper wire. Copper wire is not cheap. I'm gonna try to build a tower, a radio tower, not really a radio tower, but like a camera tower. And man, the wiring, yeah, it goes like some good wire that I need for like the high amperage is gonna require many. Like the wiring, I'm gonna have to pay like $2,000 just in pure wiring alone. I mean, I'm probably like $1,500 to $2,000 in wiring for my project. Yeah, that's how expensive copper wire is. Because I need 6 gauge. I was about to get 4 gauge or 3 gauge. Because if you don't know, in America we have gauges of wire. 4, 3, and 2 gauge. That's big wire. Yeah, wire's not cheap. A pound of copper. Do you know why people steal copper? Like, people actually steal copper wire spools. Do you know why? Scrap steel sells for about 3 to 5 cents per pound. Copper sells for like $2.90 to $3.80 per pound. It's nuts. So that's why you never get copper gutters. You never get exposed copper. You keep copper safe. Because copper is stolen frequently. And when I saw the Sears building, like, there are some pretty good industrial-sized copper cables. Like, the amount of copper in that room probably, like, this one tiny little compartment exceeded probably at least $2,000 in my estimate. For reference, Coinbase, 153 copper pennies is what it takes to make a pound. 153 copper pennies, so $1.50. And that amount of copper, let's see, right now, like if you're a coin collector at Coinbase, which yeah, I know you are, go to your stock market, you can actually save copper. Right now, copper is running from Southern Tech here. Like, you stole cabling from an abandoned facility. Wow, copper was up $57, and then it dropped from $57. Not 57. If it was $57, dude, I'd sell my pennies right now. $5.57 down to $4.30 after August. Man, copper plummeted, dude. It seems to plummet. Oh, pipes, like abandoned pipes. Oh, hey, I'll respect you. Pipes, they're pipes, simple as that. I think I've stolen 2 things from an abandoned facility. One was a basket, like a little tiny one of those like old style baskets, and the other one was a computer mouse. That's it. That's all I took from a facility, was a basket and a computer mouse. And I used that mouse for like I almost said 50 years. Let's say I'm only 20. So I've only taken 2 items from an abandoned facility. But you know what's awesome? My grandpa works at this plaza, and we used to have this like movie theater, and it got abandoned. And when I was very little, me and my dad went into it, and it was so cool. We got to go see all the abandoned kitchens. We saw an actual movie like play air like a movie theater, like the actual thing. And it got demolished and turned into a gym. And now that gym shut down, and I don't know what's gonna happen to it. But dude, I love abandoned places. I've never explored it because I don't want to get shot or trespassed. But dude, it's so cool. Because, you know, usually when you're like, I'm not gonna lie, I remember when I first got my job, and it's just, and you're right, like, I get to actually work in a restaurant, right? Like, you go to a restaurant, you get your food, but you never get to see what's going on behind the curtain. Unlike that, the restaurant I work at, it's one of the few restaurants you could go to where, like, the kitchen is exposed. Like, not like as in, like, they bring it out and cook it to you, not those type of restaurants, but our kitchen is directly exposed to our dining room. So you can watch us cook your meal if you really wanted to. The only thing that's in the back that you can't see is our freezer, our cooler, and a couple other off, you know, site like areas where we prepare the patties and stuff. And the dishwasher. I will say, I don't really like our kitchen because our kitchen is like 5 foot wide. And when there's like more than 3 people in it, it gets so congested. Yeah. I will say, when you do work like me as a dishwasher, you definitely get a respect of people for dishwashing. Because it's nasty, but someone's got to do it, you know. You know how much garbage I have to touch? How many germs I have to interact with? But you know what? Hey, it puts money on my table, and that's it. I can pay my car off. I can search my pennies, all because I do dishwashing, and I'll accept that. Hopefully, if I get my wind turbine job, I should quadruple my salary. I will say, $67,000 or $60,000 to $70,000 a year for wind turbine tech is not what you'd expect. I will say, it's relatively simple. I want to do it, and I'm in Illinois. We're a very wind-central state. We have a lot of wind. And guys, we got 12 days left until Q4 of 2025. This next quarter will see the begin. I know it's not going to happen on this exact date when, you know, October flips, but we are getting close to the construction of a very large wind farm. One that could possibly be my workplace. I am extremely excited, and I hope we can get it, or I hope they can get it done. It will begin in Q4 of this year and end in a year from that. Q4 of 26. So it's going to be a while. Good luck. Thank you. However, here's the thing I will say. I'm not trying to say never be hopeful, but say if I can. They may not accept Alipine code draws. They may not accept my job application. I tried to get hired at Menards and I didn't get hired. So you always guys, it's always an if. But here's the advantage I have. I'm thinking very smart for my age. I'm gonna try to get my foot in the door before that wind farm gets built. You see, when the wind farm, provided that they have never hired workers to fill the jobs. If they have not hired workers yet, well, guess what? There's this one wind farm where I wanted to work, but it's an hour away, and there's people there that work there already. This wind farm is going to be much bigger, providing triple the opportunity to get hired. And if I can slip my foot in the door and seal my place, I have a huge advantage. So hopefully maybe in a... I need to start doing this as soon as possible. I need to start finding the administrator of that farm, and I need to start talking. I need to start making some friends. If I can get my foot in the door of this deal, this wind farm is only... It's... If I work at this wind farm as opposed to the one I've been wanting to go for, I will save 40 minutes of time. Actually, no, not 40. I will save... It'll take me an hour to get to the old farm and back. It'll only take me 20 minutes to get to this new one. So that means I'll save 80 minutes, an hour, and almost an hour and a half of driving. Or I could sleep extra, stream extra, you name it. And this old farm had 50 units that were being built. This new one's going to have 180. 180. And up to 66 technicians will be needed. So I need to get and become one of those 66. I need to find the people and I need to start talking. This is my chance. I have a very, very pristine opportunity. If I can finesse this, I will be good. When you work as a wind technician, you don't get paid a lot of money first. But after the year, you get up like $2 an hour. Yeah, average, I hope you're doing good, Pinecone. Average pay for a wind turbine technician in Illinois is roughly like 65. So in Pinecone, for your money, in like Australia, that's 98,200 Australian dollars a year. I get paid roughly about 11,500 right now, or my annual salary is probably roughly 16,000 Australian. Not that much. If you think that's a lot, that's minimum wage, and I do make minimum wage. But it's a dishwasher job. It's not that hard. I make 15 an hour. Hopefully if I go to this job, my wind farm, it will hopefully make me... That's not good in my country. Huh. Really? And maybe I have a good plan. If I ever get tired of being a wind turbine tech, I'm going to go to school to become a meteorologist. Because meteorologists get paid way more than wind turbine tech. Huh. Huh, dude. Average pay in America is $66,000. Are you serious? $66,662. Let's see. So, average Americans, we get paid the equivalent of 100,700 Australian dollars. You get paid more than us. I kind of should be surprised about that. Not to get political, but America is a country where you'll work minimum wage for billionaires and be happy about it. That's just America for you. And also, you know what really sucks is that American teachers get paid an average like 50 grand. Let's see. So, the average American gets paid, what? Let's see. What does an American teacher make? $72,000 in 2023 for preschool. National average for a public teacher is $72,000. That's disgusting. It only raised by $20,000 I've seen. But that's stupid. We should make them get paid at least $100. Because here's the thing. I don't want to sound like the teacher pet nerd, but like, yeah, that's disgusting. $125K in your country. Okay. AUD to USD. Let's see. Let's see how bad that was. That, you said 125K? They get paid your teachers get paid like literally 10 grand better in Australia. That's just sad. Just saying, again, I don't like to get too political, but we're no, I'm not saying it as a flex, but we're richer than Australia. We're one of the richest nations on earth, but we pay our teachers less than Australia does. That's embarrassing. That is super embarrassing. Teachers need to make at least 100,000. Because literally, who's going to teach the teachers? Who's going to teach the engineers? Who's going to teach the electricians? Who's going to teach the plumbers? Teachers can, damn it. We can't survive without them. They're like our most crucial job. We should pay them a lot. Imagine getting paid $70,000. Oh wait, more than a technician. But you know what? I'm not mad at that. They deserve money. Imagine paying $70,000 or getting $70,000 to deal with kids that are sometimes not the nicest. That's just, wow. Huh. And IT. Oh, it gets paused. 200K. Oh yeah, IT people. IT people make bank. Ooh, I'm starving. Oh my god. You want to see something embarrassing? You want to see something really awesome about the United States? Look at that. This is a list of people who voted if food should be a human right. America didn't vote. America did not vote. Goddamn Russia voted, but not us. Direct applicability via international treaties, adopted or drafting framework as law, constitute explicit as a right. Dude, actual, like, my dad's IT. Oh yeah, your dad's making, like, bank. Yeah, IT people, they make bank. That's a shit ton of money. You know who also makes money? A lot of people do coding and high-end doctors. I will say, I wish wind turbine technicians would get paid a little bit more. Maybe like 70. That sounds 70, 75, that sounds fair. But at the same time, I can agree that yes, it is scary, but you're attached to a harness and the job is very safe. In fact, wind is like the third safest power source. And like behind nuclear and coal, like wind has a death rate of 0.04 deaths per terawatt. Nuclear, it's 0.03, and solar, it's 0.02. And $80, and is, oh yeah, like converted, you're I'm gonna fact check that. Hold on, give me a second. Oh my god, average pay in Australia. So, oh my god. I mean, you were a little bit. You said 125K. I just looked it up. You were 20K above, but that's still better than America. That is dumb. Australians make 104.5K. Not as much as that 125 you said, but that is significantly better than American. Maybe it could be because you have less people, but that is definitely interesting. Oh, as a teacher, okay. 100K, dude? You could just... Nuts. Weekly earnings for Australians going to $2,000. Jeez. That's nuts. I never even knew that. Hold on. Let's see. So Australia committed by ratifying the International Covenant on Economic, Social, Cultural Rights. Apparently, minimum wage. Yeah, minimum wage. I get what you're saying. Hey, do you have that really cool thing in Australia called, free healthcare? Do you have it? Oh my god. This means most citizens and permanent residents. That's nice. What's it called? Let's see. Australia's highest marginal tax is 45%. U.S.'s highest federal tax is 37%. Here's the thing. High taxes, I'm fine. As long as I'm benefiting. 45, I mean, a plus 8% in tax is worth it if it means I get free healthcare, in my opinion. Right? Like, by the way, my mom, we did a digital meet, and it cost my mom $309. Or, in Australian... Give me a second. It costs my mom, to you, like $320. 483 Australian dollars just to do a digital meeting. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That shouldn't be a thing. Why should we have to pay for a digital meeting? Remember when I was gonna get blue glasses without insurance? Like, no, with insurance, it was $400. Like a digital meeting. Like, I went to a Zoom call and or did like a Zoom appointment because my doctor is in Missouri and I'm in Illinois, and like I'm in Central IL and he's in like Southeast Missouri, so we're very far away. That's like 4 hours at minimum to drive. Also, St. Louis is kind of not cheap, huh? You say. Again, it's controversial when I say this, but guys, did you know that America has the highest percentage of incarcerated people on Earth? Which means that if of any country, the percentage of people that are in prison, we have the highest. Samoan Green of indigenous people. Not indigenous people, incarcerated. Let me fact check myself. Yep, US. We have, let's see. Statista. Like, for example, the second place in China. I mean, that's large amount of, whatever. Per 100,000 people in America, 614 get jailed. The second most is the UK with 144. That's nuts. That could be a problem. Where I sit on the guns is I think that I'm not saying we should get rid of them, but we don't need to hand them bastards out like candy. I like guns, but I think we should do background checks. We should have, like, only the people who are sound should get them, obviously. I am strongly opposed to just them selling them and then just buy them. Because, by the way, I could go into Missouri right now, I could go purchase a gun, and if I'm not wrong, I don't have to do any background checks. We're in Illinois, if you buy a gun, you have to go through a background check, and then you also have to have a firearm owner identification license. And after you get that license and you get the gun, you have to pay, you have to wait like up to 3 weeks for paperwork, which sucks, but you know what? That could prevent people from doing bad stuff. Also, we're very strict, like, we ban suppressors. And we're one of the 8 states to ban suppressors. And we've banned bump stocks, which exploit a recoil of a gun into firing a quote-unquote automatic. It's not true automatic, but the bump of the recoil can fire another round. I'm also going to say, even though I'm pro-gun, I don't think everybody should have automatics, and only the best of the best should have them. Like, for example, to have it, you cannot legally buy an automatic unless you have, like, I think it was like an ADL license. You have to have a very... So, my suppressor doesn't even make it that quiet. Well, I think a lot of the time, the reason why we have a lot of gun laws like this in Illinois is because of Chicago. Now, what you'll hear, and if there's other person in the chat, don't get mad. People say Chicago's the most dangerous city. Its murder rate by capita is 11. Now, let me roll you this. St. Louis has a murder capita of 32. St. Louis is far worse in crime than Chicago. The main reason that Chicago gets the blunt is because it's so big that it exceeds, you know, what do you call it? It exceeds, the homicides of Chicago exceed St. Louis because Chicago is simply bigger. You gotta realize, like, people are, now, crime is bad, but you gotta realize, Chicago is the 3rd largest city in the entire U.S. and the largest in Illinois. However, no, our capital is not in Chicago, it's in Springfield, Illinois, southwest of Chicago. Like, central southwest of Chicago. West of Champaign, west of Champaign and Decatur, Illinois. Southwest of Bloomington. Southwest of Lincoln, Illinois. 0.7, yeah. And here's the thing, right? You want to go for capita, because that's how many people die per, like, the rate. For example, let's say we take murder rate of America. Or murder rate by country. How many people die? America's going to get a top. Because, either that or China. Because we have a lot of people. What you want to look at is the rate. So statistically, you're more likely to get killed in... If you have 1,000 people of Chicago and 1,000 people of St. Louis, and you go into that crowd, you are you are about 2, almost 3 times more likely to get shot up in the St. Louis crowd. Now, again, I want to say this. That doesn't mean people in St. Louis are bad. No. That just means the murder rate of St. Louis is worse than Chicago. Also, Memphis, Tennessee is also really bad. I'm pretty sure their murder capita, last time I checked, it was probably like 20. But Chicago per capita ranks number 8 as the in murders. Honestly, you want to talk about crime? Well, East St. Louis is horrific. East St. Louis has a murder rate. At one time, it was like 500% of any average in this country. I'm going to tell you this right now. If there's any non-Americans watching this, and you plan on going to the country, stay the hell away from these cities. Stay out of Gary and stay the hell out of East St. Louis. Do not ever approach. It is not worth it. East St. Louis is known as one of the most dangerous cities in the country. Let's see, East. Come, East St. Louis. Come because you want to go there. Never leave because you got shot. What's its murder per capita in 2024? 20 homicides, but what's the percentage? 26% decrease from 2023. Like Pinecone. Dude, East St. Louis's murder rate in 2024 was 30 per 100,000 people. How about 2025? How's it going in 2025? Is it bad? Is it worse? Not yet available. Let's see. Chicago murder rate per capita in 2024 was 17. And this year, so far, it's 11. By the way, I just want to remind you that Chicago's murder rate was 17 in 2024. East St. Louis was 30. That means that East St. Louis, like let's say 30 divided by 0.87, East St. Louis is 34 times more dangerous than average Australia. Run that through your head. A small suburb is, you're more likely to get shot in Australia than maybe because, there's more people. Actually, I reversed that with, I've gone by East St. Louis. It's bad. I have a rule with East St. Louis. If I have to go there, don't drop the speed below 30 mile an hour. Actually, for how fast the 22L long rifle goes, you should probably not even drop below 60. East St. Louis was a prospering city located east of St. Louis. And the economy died out and crime went up. Just right now, go to Google Earth and drop a pin in the Go View East St. Louis. It looks like a ghetto. And I remember, if you go to St. Louis, I'm not speaking bad about the people, but I'm just saying, genuinely, the city looks like it's in shambles. St. Louis looks so run down. It's got cool art and culture, but it looks very run down. There's some good parts, near the Federal Reserve is okay, but if you go, let's see, I want to go to the interstate and see something. I've been to St. Louis, and I've been past East St. Louis and the Cahokia Mounds. If you let's say you're going in on on St. Louis, if you're going in on Interstate 70, and you keep going instead of turning on this 44 east, I think, if you go through O'Fallon, it deteriorates. Give me a second. I'll see if I can pull up a picture. It gets bad. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. If you go into Interstate 70, and if you keep going, this is what you see. Look at this. This is by 70. Let me get a better picture. No weed and no deals. No, mo weed. This is so random. Is weed legal in St. Louis? Is weed? I know it's legal in Illinois. It's illegal in Indiana. Yeah, but look at this. Although you want to hear something, one thing that's cool about St. Louis. Oh, look at that. So if you want to hear something cool about this. There's so much graffiti. The graffiti that's located in the very high spots are apparently called suicide spots because they're in spots that are very, very dangerous. By the way, like if you even approach East St. Louis, you can tell that it is just not right. Let's see, average, medium, home income for East St. Louis. You ready to get depressed? That was bad voice crack. The median income is $30,000. Let me refresh you on that. That means that an average home in East St. Louis makes $30,000. A home, not a person, a home. If I worked as a wind turbine tech, I would make double that. Let's see, per capita. No, the poverty rate is 42.8%. That is nuts. I will say, Illinois has two big stinkers. Chicago, you could say, but here's the thing. Chicago, I'm not gonna say Chicago's good, but saying it's like really bad, I don't feel correct about that either. I will say this right now. There are some bad spots in Chicago. West Garfield Park being the worst from my research. However, I'd rather go to Chicago than like Peoria, because I only live half an hour from Peoria. Oh my god, I'm not joking. In Peoria, there is a shooting, a stabbing, an arson, a homicide, or an SA every week. Like one or two of those a week. I'm not kidding you. I could tune in. Let's see, Peoria arson. Let's just search up Peoria arson. 4 displaced after arson scorches home, August 1st, 2025. Look at that. I've already found one. Let's say Peoria stabbing. Let's see how long Let's see how long that was ago. 1 week ago. Oh no, I need to go to Peoria, Illinois. Literally, a month ago, Peoria, woman arrested for stabbing in Peoria. But if you look at the news on, like, the local news, there's so much, like, crime in Peoria. I'm pretty sure it's, like, doubles as worse than Chicago. Also, I think I was born in Peoria. Either that, or I was born in Bloomington. I don't know. But, I've been to Peoria a couple times, and it does look run down in a couple areas. Like, if you've never noticed, in American towns, you'll find these streets called division streets. And you'll notice that they're poor. And bear with me for a second. I'm not trying to be mean. But you'll notice that a lot of these streets that sound poor are, unfortunately, the African American community. Now, before you judge that, here's what happened. Back then, they used to make division streets, and they'd put all of the African American population in the areas. And they'd segregate them. And then they'd do this thing called redlining, which means that when they found... They'd make these black communities, and they would basically make it where they get horrible deals on homing, that the median income was bad. They basically screwed these over. Like, racism in the country I live in got so bad that to make prices go down and people move out, some people would actually hire black women to stroll black babies in front of people's homes. And it would piss them off and make them move. That's how bad racism got in the 60s. And unfortunately, because of redlining, a lot of African American communities, like the wealth between that and normal... I should say normal white, but like by the way, the pay gap between black and white communities is horrible because of redlining. Redlining really, really shit on the people who it was affected by, and it's sad. Like, there's a division street in my town, there's a division street in Peoria, there's a division street everywhere. Let me check myself. Division Street, because the road historically served as a physical, administrative, social boundary separating different districts, civil jurisdictions, and even segregated communities, are named, like in Chicago, represent a broader symbol division or separation within America. Like Indianapolis, Orlando Division Street was a significant boundary that reflected racial segregation. See, I was right, because they actually did use streets called division streets to separate black and white communities, and then they'd redline the shit out of the black communities and basically screw them over. Yeah, so they get horrible rates, horrible pay, all that. Redlining is a bitch. And then you want to hear where it gets better? If you were in a redlined area and you were a black American just, chilling out, well, let's just say your house had a very high risk of being bulldozed to become a highway. So unfortunately, a lot of these interstates are paved over redlined areas. So if you ever say, why are these interstates in really, like, rundown areas? It's because they said, you know what? You know what'd be funny? Let's run the interstate right through a black community. They deemed it as not as valuable as white community. Unfortunately, that happened. Let's see. Yeah, these red line neighborhoods were often black or immigrant communities whose residents routinely denied mortgages. Oh yeah, right. So if you wanted a mortgage, if you were a black American, you wanted a mortgage, and you were in a red line, well, guess what? You could kick rocks because it wasn't going to happen because, I guess, screw you, land of the free. Land of the free, Like, seriously, search into redlining. It's horrifically corrupted. As a result of the map in the time period, many of these communities had interstate highways routed through them, either isolating them or demolishing them completely, according to the American Chemical Society. So they disregarded these immigrant and black communities just so that they could put interstates right through them without a care in the world. That's sad. There might be one last chunk of rock. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat some pizza. Bye. Wait, did I get this stuff over here already? I think, guys, I might be done digging everything out. You know, I know the companies would lose money, but they should make it where when they demolish a building, that you could just come in and take shit. Like you're telling me. Like honestly, I'd buy a couple shit like from like abandoned buildings. So people would do that. Like sell it. And if you're not gonna do it, at least let us go in and get the shit before you just demolish and destroy it. Like all those TVs in that Sears HQ I saw. Like you could at least let people go get the things, or hell, sell it. Make a little couple extra dollars. You probably make at least $100,000 for all the stuff you can sell inside. Maybe even 200. Guys, I think I got like 99% of everything. Chad, did we do it? Honestly, even if we did stop now, we just dug out essentially everything we could. To my knowledge. A little bit of some stuff left over here. Well, let's say, what about this stuff? Oh, that's Astronium. Alright, that's right next to my base. I'm looking for my, like, little buggy. Yeah, this symbol for my car. Yeah, let's say this is probably like one of these like Astronium stations I've built. Where is my damn truck? Oh. I have a little buggy. I think we basically have essentially almost everything. Yeah. Astroneer. Nice. I think we've done it. I think after more than probably about 20-30 hours, we definitely hollowed out the core. I'm making a super base. No way. There's the North Pole, of course. We actually got everything? I know, by the way, before you say, oh, did you get, like, are you sure you got everything? No, I'm actually very sure. Are you excited for the update that's coming soon? The big one, Megatech? Looks like we actually did get essentially everything. Oh yeah, we got everything. We're done. I think all we really need to do now is fabricate. Alright. I'm gonna take a break here. We have done it. We've dug everything out. We're ready to fabricate. So now we're gonna do two things. We need to do the battery, but we also need to... Maybe when we come home, we need to start getting ready, not come home, but when we, like, get on again, we need to start getting a lot of the Astronium out. And fast. That way we can actually build up, fearing that we're gonna get rid of the Astronium. But yeah, we're good. I'm gonna go eat some dinner. Maybe I might come home and play some Borderlands. Who knows?